So U.S. election, presidential election is just over a week away, and it is one of the most consequential elections in the U.S. history. That's been said by various experts. How do you see the U.S. presidential election in the context of India-U.S. relations?
I think with Trump being very fond of India, as well as with Prime Minister Modi, winning of Trump as a Republican candidate will enhance this relationship further. I personally think with China being a threat to India, with the quad generation of Japan, Australia, India, and USA, will strengthen our defense factor, and that can be more in solid foot ground with a Republican candidate coming in the next presidential election.
So, what will be the key factors when the Indian community will go out to vote in the presidential election? What are the main issues that will be the factors for them to vote?
Majority of them have a green card visa issues, H-1B visa issues, majority of them. But most of them now have a problem with their security of their life. There's like jewelry store gets vandalized. And there are no protection as such given to Indian community home or store owners. That's why we frequently hear the gangs are looting our stores. If Republican government is there, it will be well funded to the police and security as compared to Democrats. That will be issue security to the local people living here and easing off of visas for trained IT persons, the accountants, the teachers, the doctors, engineers will be much better and enhance further.
So what are the main issues in this election actually? Inflation is a very important issue. The migration is a very important issue, but from your perspective and whatever you have observed, what are the main issues in this election?
The international standing of USA has gone down as in last 4 years. The international community do not respect dollar as much what they used to respect, and that reflects the weakness of the government.
So how do you see Mr. Donald Trump's policy on migration? He has announced that, in fact, if he wins the election, he will throw the undocumented people from the soil of US. And it will be one of the biggest deportation program in the world. Do you think it will impact Indians as well? How do you see it?
I think mostly it will affect the south of the border, such as Mexico to Venezuela. They'll be affected more if the deportation does happen. Our Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi people may be some effect of deportation, but not to the huge scale.
Sir, one of the biggest stories in the last 10-15 years has been the growing strategic partnership between India and US. How do you see this partnership going forward as the world is grappling with various geopolitical tensions and turmoils?
I think India is in a better situation aligning with USA as far as our safety of India is concerned, while we have a one side Pakistan and other side China, and now Bangladesh is coming up. So we need to have an alliance with the US to increase our defense capability with the high-tech instruments which can have impact, and our standing can go further up. If we lag behind in improving the capability of our forces, the army, the navy, and others, by not providing them the high-tech military hardwares and the planes and helicopters and fighters, we will lose the ground. Long distance missiles program will be another one, very important for us.
So one of the finest initiatives that India and US have announced in the last few years, among them was the initiative on ISET. So it's a very ambitious initiative to force deeper collaboration between the two countries in critical technology sector like AI, semiconductor, etc. So how do you see the partnership between India and US under the framework of ISET?
It will be a great opportunity for India to have multinational companies set up their shops there in India with the talent of our people there at affordable cost. Our young generation of India can provide a strong support to American and Western population which is getting aged. And our IT knowledge in India is tremendously superior than anybody else. It will be a great idea that as artificial intelligence taking over more and more, the jobs we had there in India maybe decrease down the road because AI will do their jobs. But then we have to surpass that handicap and develop a higher level of knowledge so we become more superior with artificial intelligence. I tell you, in my practice, I used to have dictations and transcribed by the company in Mumbai, India. Now with artificial intelligence coming in, I'm doing all my dictation right when patient is in the room and it gets transcribed in our notes without the need for any other third person to type my notes. So this is a beginning of how artificial intelligence is going to affect how we practice our medicines down the road, and it will ultimately eliminate the need of transcription job back at home.
So, the India-US relations have been a success story, and there is bipartisan support in the US political spectrum for deeper India-US relations. If Mr. Trump wins the election, what will be the areas that you would like both the countries to expand or deepen cooperation further?
So one thing would be multinational companies coming out of USA, if they set up their shop, such as iPhones, the cars, the planes, high level, high value job creation can happen much faster than we go at our space. On the other hand, we can affect the net profit of the companies because we have a younger generation, hardworking group of people, well ethical groups. They can provide more services for half the value what they have to pay in USA. USA, as being a wealthiest country, more and more unions are there and they're setting up their rates, their wages so high. So it sometimes becomes unaffordable for a big company to compete with the foreign companies like such as China.
So for the US companies to come to India and set up manufacturing facilities, would you also expect the Indian government to initiate some policy tweaks and then make the investments more attractive?
Yeah. If I were asked, I would set up a 90-day window. By the time a foreign company wants to set up a company, in 90 days we say yes and no. And if we say yes, within the end of a year, their plant should be operational. The accessibility, providing them the tax rebates, reducing their tariffs, with the best way to attract, at this time, foreign nationals to set up their shops there.
Sir, H-1B visa is a very thorny issue, very sensitive
Yeah.
issue. India has been, and Indian companies have been pressing for increasing the cap.
Yeah.
How do you see it? In fact, should it be increased so that in fact there is more flow of talent from India to US?
Yeah. In a competitive world, if our students are trained very well, hardworking, then definitely they will be absorbed at a higher number. Currently, there is a quota, I understand. But if our students prove that they are more productive to the US economy, then those quotas will be liberated. Number one. Second thing is EB5 program. As you are well aware, EB5 program. That's a great program for an Indian national, let's say in Ahmedabad. They have available money, let's say $1 million, and they want to invest in America for their children. They can get green card within 2 years. Plus their education in the college for 4 years, which amounts to about $200,000 in 4 years, can be subsidized. So my advice would be any family who has a wealth and they wish to migrate out of India to apply for EB5 petition. And under EB5 program, we can help. I have connections with big EB5 sponsorship program to help the families who has a wealth but their children needs to be educated in USA, and that's their wish list. They should apply for EB5 program.
So, how do you see Prime Minister Modi's role in significant upswing in India-US relations during his tenure as the Prime Minister? Because you have been closely following India-US relations. How do you see it?
It's a great relationship. Modi has a very large stature in international rankings. People seek his advice. Even latest Russia-Ukraine fight, Modi has played a pivotal role. As far as USA is concerned, many senators and local councilmen, everywhere we talk, they know him. They look for his advice. And he has established himself as an honest, hardworking, non-corrupt leader of India. And this is going to go further up in the next 2-3 years. As India is poised to become third largest economy in the world, that will increase the standing further.
So you have been doing pioneering work in the healthcare sector. So do you expect deeper collaboration between India and US in the healthcare sector? Would you just mention any specific areas or avenues where we can have deeper cooperation?
3 things. One is the pharmacy sector. India has established itself as a major producer of generic medicines, and those medicines are exported to America at a reduced cost, and that is lowering their budget, healthcare budgets for pharmacy. We can do much better job than currently. We are about 30% of world's share in generic pharmacy. We can still do much better by establishing the ground rules that no medicine will be tainted and it will be to the standards of American company. The second thing what I think is the newer developments of medical technology, such as coming up is like robotic surgeries, the valve surgeries with the newer valves, where we don't have to open up patient's chest and do a big surgery, but those surgery can be done transcutaneously at a lower cost, earlier discharge from hospital, where the most research has to happen. That should come from India because we have trained surgeons, large population to take care of those medical problems, and a younger generation of physicians. Those research on those newer technology like PET scan, the MRI scans, the robotic surgeries, artificial intelligence driven surgery, India should become a hub to give this service to the world.
So anything that you would like to say about India-US relations, overall trajectory of it?
I think it's a healthy trend. Let's continue. I hope there is no political upheaval which can disrupt in one way or other way. And I'm all for Modi and Modi's government.